to illuminate the often unseen mental health challenges faced by first responders, police officers, firefighters, paramedics, and 911 dispatchers by sharing their stories, fostering understanding, and promoting resources for support and healing. We aim to break down stigma, advocate for improved mental health services within the first responder community, and inspire hope and resilience. This is the Weight We Carry podcast.
What's going on, guys? It's Bart with the Weight We Carry podcast, and today we have a friend of ours, Taylor Leturgey. He's a firefighter-paramedic. What's going on, man? How are you?
Good, how are you? I've been excited to get on here.
I know, we've been having to reschedule a few times. I'm sorry. Summer's pretty crazy for us.
Yeah, crazy for everybody.
It is, and like just starting out and doing this podcast, we didn't know really how the summer would go, and then we had baseball and all the family things come up, and we're like, what? We need to slow it down a little bit, but here we go. We finally got you on. I appreciate you stopping by, man.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoy seeing all the stories of him playing baseball and his different tournaments.
Heck yeah, it's busy, man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's getting ready to start back up for fall ball.
I can't imagine.
So I gave you a brief little introduction here, Taylor. Why don't you give everyone a little bit more detailed information about yourself?
My name's Taylor Leturgey. I'm 31 years old now. I have been a firefighter-paramedic for the last couple years. I started off in 2013 just as a lowly firefighter. A year later, I got my EMT. About 5 years later, I was like, man, let's take the jump to be a paramedic. Recently, well, not recently anymore. 4 years ago, I moved down to Virginia, and I've been a firefighter-paramedic down in the DMV now since then.
Heck yeah, man. It's good to see you, though. It's been a while. We run into each other here and there, at so many public safety events. I've seen you, but that other than that, I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, it's just paths don't cross as often as they used to,
Life gets in the way, man.
Yep. As the older you get, the less time you have.
That's it. So we're gonna jump right into it, man. Okay?
Yeah.
If you could share a little bit about your roots growing up in Pittsburgh and what was life like for you, and what early experiences influenced your desire to help others.
So I grew up in the city itself. I grew up in Carrick on a little street called Carrick Avenue, coincidentally, right off of Brownsville. From there, I grew up in the city school environment, learning stuff like that. I ended up getting diagnosed with ADHD at a pretty young age, and went through pretty much everything you can imagine for kind of treatment for that, experimental treatments. They kind of ended up just using the, maxing out the Adderall to get me under control. From there, just kind of grew up. My parents unfortunately got divorced, and we moved out of the city. Luckily, for high school, I went to Keystone Oaks in Mount Lebanon. We were living in Castle Shannon. From there, I kind of just divulged into where I am today.
Rock and roll, man. So what drew you towards a career in public safety, and was there a defining moment or influence that inspired you from a young age?
I never really can narrow it down specifically. The only thing I can really tie it down to is 9/11. I mean, we're kind of in that age group where we got released from school and we're like, why are we going home so early? And yeah, first thing I remember was walking in, Carrick Avenue is literally right around the corner from the middle school or elementary school that I went to. So I walked to and from school every day. So they're like, all right, everybody go home early. So I walked home, and I remember my dad being on the phone with my grandmother, and you could hear the sirens in the background. She lives in Johnstown. Okay. So they were all getting mobilized to Flight 93. They didn't know what was happening. It was flying over Pittsburgh, roughly coming towards that area. And as I walked in on the phone, you can hear her sirens. The sirens in Pittsburgh were going crazy. Second tower got hit. Watching it live. Me, little kid, had no idea what was going on, kind of stuff like that. The next year or 2 years later, we went to New York City and went to Ground Zero. And that's kind of the first thing that I kind of correlate to being in public safety. I have a nice little picture, I think I sent it over to you, of me standing next to a NYPD officer, and he has his hat on me. That was kind of the first kind of thing from there. From there, I remember my mom sewed together some crappy little dummy from old sheets and pillowcases and filled it up with styrofoam. And I dressed up as a fireman.
Heck yeah.
Dragging that around for Halloween. And in typical Pittsburgh fashion, when was the last Halloween you remember that wasn't pouring down rain? So that thing got soaked. That thing got soaked, and of course I was like, this is too heavy, and pawned it off onto my parents. But yeah, just kind of kept doing that and wanted to keep getting more and more involved in it as I got older.
Yeah. Is there anyone else in your family that's public safety at all?
Not direct family. I have a cousin that's in public safety, but I'm a first generation firefighter.
Rock and roll. Oh, yeah. So walk us through your initial steps into public safety from your time with the Civil Air Patrol and your early experiences in volunteer fire departments. How did earning your first firefighter certificate, your firefighter one, change your perspective?
So I started off with the Civil Air Patrol. I'm not sure if you're too familiar with it, but it's the United States Air Force's auxiliary. You can join it, and you're basically part of the Air Force while you're a kid. You start off from the age, I can't remember what age you can start at. I think you can start at like 13 to 16, somewhere around there. And then you go and you either drill and like just do formation stuff, learn how to fly if you want, do ground search and rescue. I got into it because I really wanted to do more search and rescue stuff and a little bit of the flying stuff too. Who doesn't want to fly a plane?
Heck yeah.
From there, I got all my kind of ground search and rescue certifications. I was out of the Pittsburgh International Airport, like right across the street from our former workplace. And went from there. I went to Indiana a couple times doing some search and rescue stuff, working with radios, all that kind of stuff. But we never really had an activation. We did a lot of like trainings and stuff like that. So when I turned 18, I was like, man, I'm not doing anything with this. Nothing at all. So I was like, what can I do to actually do something? So somebody recommended me to join the fire department. I joined the local volunteer fire department. I got my Fire 1 certification, and it was kind of eye-opening just how, like, you think firemen just put water on fires, but it was a lot more in-depth than that, and it really got me excited to continue the career and do more with it. And once I got that, I decided, man, I want to get my EMT. Like, I'm tired of going to these car crashes and us arriving first and like people bleeding all over the place, and I don't know what to do. So I was like, let's get my EMT. So I got that right around the same time I got the job at the 911 center because, I was just trying to get more involved with public safety. So got the job with the 911 center and did that for a couple years. Had some pretty stressful calls, both volunteer and paid. And then I decided, man, being cooped up in this dark room anymore really isn't ideal for me. So I went to the city of Pittsburgh as an EMT. I finally thought I was a good enough EMT to get my paramedic. Got my paramedic through COVID, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
Okay. So having embraced multiple roles from firefighter to a dispatcher to your EMT, how has this diverse background influenced the way you view the challenges in the field?
Having the experience from pretty much all aspects minus police really gives you the perspective of like what's going on. There's so many parties involved. Between the 911 caller either being a cell phone warrior, the one that like saw an accident 3 streets over and thinks that somebody's dying to call 911, to the dispatcher, to all the different agencies responding. Like there's usually a good communication, but there's always, it's like playing the monkey game where you're like, hey, tell so-and-so this, and it gets down and it's completely different at the end of the line. So understanding, like reading the CAD of like, I have a 13-year-old or something that's doing this, and you're like, man, why don't we have any of this information? Like when you're in the truck, to being a 911 operator where like they might be dealing with something right now. Like give them a second, they'll get the information to you when they can. So it's given me a lot more patience and also a lot more anxiety too when I know it's something simple like, what do you mean you didn't put the apartment number in for this tow paint at 3 a.m.? You know what I mean? It's just just those different things that like gives you a huge eye-opening.
Sure. So reflecting on your first fire in 2013, how did that critical life-altering call shape your perspective that you do today?
Yeah, I was fresh out. I passed my firefighter 1 and got my essential certification. So I was officially an interior firefighter on Thursday. And I got my sign off on Friday. Was it Friday? Whatever, the days mix up. But it was like the next day after getting my black helmet to be able to go interior for fire 3 a.m. structure fire drops, and you're like,
Of course.
oh man, of course, first one, let's go. And listening to the scanner on the way to it, it's like reported entrapment, somebody's trying to go inside to get them. And it's like, oh crap, this is the real deal. Like, it didn't hit me until then, because, like, yeah, I realized that, like, people were die in this profession, or like you're going to save people, to the point where you pull up on scene and you see somebody literally dragging out a on fire corpse onto the front patio. And that was really an eye-opening kind of like thing that was like, we're in it.
Yeah.
Welcome
This is
to
what
the
we
show.
tried to do. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't make it, but like it was, well, obviously, but it was unfortunate. Just kind of start off to the career, didn't ease into it, just kind of like thrown to the wolves. On the
Trial by
first
fire. Here you go.
Yep.
So in 2016, you took a call involving a 13-year-old in crisis, a moment that still resonates with you. Can you describe what that experience was like and how it affected you both personally and professionally?
Yeah, 2016 March, a couple months ago now. I think when I reached out to you, reached back out to me. It was March, so it was kind of every anniversary kind of hits a little bit different. But one of the kid went out into his backyard, and he had some mental health issues, from what I was told by some of his family afterwards, and hung himself from a tree. So mom went out back, found him, called 911. You've listened to the call before. It's a pretty rough call. It's really ingrained into my mind, because you know how you pre-record your introduction on the 911 calls. It was that, and then over that was the blood-curdling scream of a mother in distress, and nobody wants to hear that. It sends shivers down everybody's spine. From there, it was just kind of trying to play catch up, I guess. Trying to get her to help him. I remember trying to tell her to lift him up, to try to get his airway to get open a little bit, and she was trying to do that. You could hear the agonal respirations in the voice of him trying to gasp for air over it. I was also sitting the West Fire desk, because I remember it was a pretty busy day. I worked afternoons, was working afternoons, and you know how afternoons at the 911 center can be. Like hundreds of calls coming in.
Doesn't end. Yeah, it doesn't end.
So I decided, as per usual, that I was going to help out and take some alleviated calls. Time slowed down. I think that's pretty normal for any kind of traumatic incident. I remember dispatching the call. I remember talking to the assistant chief of the fire department, who has since left public safety because of that incident, just trying to direct him into the backyard, because obviously they're not in the house when he's on a tree. I remember hearing that assistant chief like get up to mom and like starting to talk to him, and I hung up. And after stressful calls, you kind of just go,
yeah.
But you could hear a pin drop in that 911 center. There's never a time in that 911 center that you can hear a pin drop, and you could just feel the eyes on. Like, you could look around everybody, and just everybody was staring,
Looking at your way. Yeah.
because you hear that blood-curdling scream, and everybody kind of just starts opening up that call. Everybody gets nebby. They're like, oh man, what is he yelling at? Why can't he get that going? And everybody's reading 13-year-old. You can hear him breathe in and stuff like that on the call. And it was just kind of one of those things that like I went outside, and they gave me, I can't remember if it was the lead or the shift commander came down and was like, hey, go take as much time as you need. I went down to my car, and I started to cry. I mean, it was like one of those things that still hurts to this day. But yeah, I came back in and got the big yellow M, and got to sit South EMS for another 8 hours. Terrible, but I mean, life goes on.
Yeah. It's a tough call, man. Like anything involving kids, no matter what type of critical incident is with the child, it's always hard, man. And we all know too well. So are there any particular incidents over the years, other than that have left a mark on your mental and emotional well-being? And if so, how have they influenced your approach to this work?
Man, there's a lot. There's a couple run with our mutual employer at the one time in the North Hills that kind of sat with me, especially around COVID. Everybody was having a little bit of a hard mental health time.
Sure.
I was a full-time EMT doing the off-site paramedic program through University of Pittsburgh So didn't have much free time to begin with. When I did, I was already at my volunteer fire department running free time to trying to get the shifts and study and work with other people up there, get extra clinical hours in, stuff like that. And my wife was in school full time, also working full time. So it was a lot of stuff going on, especially with COVID. Couple calls with the agencies up there, and that sat with me, and I didn't really know how to handle at the time. I was going through a lot of compassion fatigue, a lot of just fighting, probably the hardest inner demons fighting there. Nothing ever bad. It was just the compassion fatigue, the burnout, everything hitting all at the same time, just because.
Then a global pandemic all wrapped into one.
Yep. And it just was starting to get rough. I didn't know how to handle it. After the 2016 incident, I tried to get some help through the EAP because SISM was with the fire departments and the EMS agency, and I got mandated, so I wasn't able to go to the SISM, and they weren't available when I got off or whatever. So I did the EAP, went to the therapist that the EAP recommended, because they literally just go, hey, go to this one. She had no idea what to do. You could see her shocked from that. And she tried to recommend me to somebody else who also was not a trauma therapist. So she also was like, I have no idea what to do. So I just said, all right, screw it. Like, no one's going to be able to help me with this. So why bother? So that kind of just alleviated me down into the rabbit hole. And I was down there pretty long for it, unfortunately. Dozens of different calls, probably. I don't know how detailed we could get into some of them, just some with police, with another suicide, with a mental health guy, that I just didn't know how to react in the instance. But yeah, I think those might be the hardest calls, is the mental health, like suicides.
Sure. So over the course of your career, what signs or symptoms of stress or PTSD have you experienced? How did you first come to realize that these challenges extended beyond just being part of the job?
Like I said, the 2016 incident, it gets hard to talk about sometimes. I was choking up a little bit trying to talk to you about it. Like, laying down at night, unexpected phone calls or whatever. The unexpected phone calls are probably my biggest trigger. Like, I love to offer anybody a helping hand when they're going through something, but I always try to tell them, make sure you text me first, because if my phone starts ringing just unexpectedly, my heart starts racing, I start getting nervous.
That anxiety, for sure.
Yeah, that telltale signs of just PTSD, and I just 9 times out of 10 I'll hit the red phone button just to not deal with it. But yeah, from there, a lot of the PTSD stuff for that, I 100% knew I got compassion fatigue with, especially around COVID, people calling for arguably dumb stuff, but also they didn't know what to do because doctors' offices were closed.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing anything. I couldn't get out. Some people just wanted somebody to talk to, and the compassion fatigue just kind of got to me, because we worked 12-hour shifts and we're running 16 calls in that 12-hour shift span or more, and especially with how close everything is in proximity there. So compassion fatigue hit hard, and then just led me into probably one of my darker mental health periods, and yeah.
So the journey, what's it been like from the immediate impact of these experiences to the longer process of healing and understanding the toll that they do take on you?
Man, I'm so glad that the careers are getting so much better in mental health. They're still not great, but they're getting significantly better. Like, when my incidents happened, everybody was just kind of like, all right, cool, whatever.
Take 5 and come back.
Yeah, take another 911 call. So I didn't really know what to do. I did the EAP because I knew that I was kind of aware of the mental health issue, but then I went and they literally said that they couldn't help me, and I was just being bounced around, and I wasn't going to keep getting bounced around until EAP no longer covered it, until I found a new therapist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there, I just kind of said, screw it, and just kind of tried to deal with it myself. And it's not the best thing to do. especially after such a traumatic event.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else really knew how to help. I don't think anybody really knew. My therapist now says we love to do what we call box it. I take everything and put it in a box, cover up the box, and then shove it in a deep, dark corner in the back of your brain. But, you keep piling those up and there's nowhere else to put them, or they fall on you and start causing you another problem.
That's exactly what I did. I just kept on putting it in, stuffing it away, and then there's no more room for it. And then finally I was at my breaking point where I just needed to reach out. And no matter how it was, I had to reach out. Because it to this day, man, like even today for me, it was a rough mental health day for no good reason. Just, there's no good reason.
It loves to just hit you on random times for no reason.
No reason at all. And you're like, come on, brain. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It does drive me up the wall sometimes. So I'm like, man, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong, but I'm having issues today for no good reason.
Yeah, it could be having one of the greatest days of your life, but your brain's just like,
yep,
nope, we're not having it today.
Nope. And that's guys, that's what mental health is. that's what it is. Like having depression or any type of PTSD, depression, anything along those lines, it just hits you for no reason. And that's, at least now I realize that's the issue. And I can, or my wife calls me out, but she'll call me out on it all day. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, there we go. Take a step back. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
So, man, when challenging calls do weigh on you, even to the point of affecting sleep or daily life, what coping mechanisms have proven most effective?
The worst one, disassociating.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I've kind of mastered the art of disassociating and just kind of saying it is what it is and just kind of removing my brain from the situation, kind of shutting it off. Other than that, in my private time, I try to play video games, different games. I have way too many games on Steam. Don't let me tell you how much I've spent on Steam. And then I do have a dog and a cat, so those might be the two. Love the studies that show that having just a pet in the house reduce your blood pressure and your cortisol levels. It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
She's probably sitting in the bed right behind me. Yeah, she's taking a snooze back there. So
there she is.
So she's might be one of my biggest. Having a good support system at home too, so it's great.
So how has your personal support network, your wife, your colleagues, and family helped you navigate the ups and downs of this type of work?
My wife is great. She doesn't do anything in public safety except for what I drag her around and do. So that's a complete removal from stressors usually, for me at least. I just don't want to deal with some stuff at home, like I do the whacker stuff and listen to structure fires that Berkeley goes on, or like work goes on. Like, damn it, I'm missing another one. The colleagues
the
at work,
whacker's always there.
Yeah, you always got to do something. Coworkers definitely help out a lot though too, because I know I'm sure you can remember sitting at the dinner table at work or wherever and just doing nonsense, cheering each other up all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Then trauma dumping on each other too is not great, but it's proven to be pretty good. It's pretty good for mental health. Not the best, but helps you get through it. Family's okay. Just the ups and downs of family, and that family drama itself kind of takes a toll too, though.
Sure, and that's, I think, the general public fails to realize, as responders, whether it's police, fire, EMS, dispatching, whatever, we all have our own personal lives, whatever's going on in your own personal life, and then dealing with the world's problems on top of that, and even for me, I didn't have the public safety COVID experience because I was sick. I was in the hospital. So I didn't get that whole aspect of, when the world flipped upside down and had a global pandemic going on and working in public safety. So I didn't really see that side of it.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
You probably came out and the world was completely different.
Seriously, man, it really was. Britt and Logan came and picked me up and we're riding down McKnight Road. I'm like, what's going on? There's no one on McKnight Road. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was absolutely crazy.
Yeah. That was the best thing about COVID. It was no traffic anywhere. So.
McNightmare was not the McNightmare that we all know. So, Taylor, what role do hobbies and personal interests such as video games, hiking, music, and spending time with your dog playing. And let me redo this, okay? So what role do hobbies and personal interests such as video games, hiking, music, and spending time with your dog play in helping you decompress and reset?
I have pretty significant ADHD. Well, who doesn't in public safety? But so with ADHD, your mind's just racing at 1,000 miles per hour all the time. One thing that I do find that usually calms me down pretty easily and gets me distracted is just kind of focusing on one thing. It's kind of why I like video games so much. One of my favorite games is Squad. It's like a first-person shooter where you work with a squad and you kind of go and take objectives. You kind of hone in and you're doing that for that period of time. Each match is like 45 minutes long, and it's just you trying to coordinate with your team and try to win the game. So it kind of ropes you in. My wife gets angry at me sometimes because I'll miss some voice, like text messages, or she'll be trying to talk to me, and I'm in a
Focus
war
on the
zone.
game.
Yeah, in a headset, in a war zone. But it just kind of tickles the stimulation, and focus is just right for me. We do like to take hikes with the dog. She's well trained. We have her off leash most of the time. So if there's no one else on the trail, we take the leash off and let her run around and sniff. She'll go like 20 yards, turn around and make sure you're still coming. If you're not, she runs back and tries to find you. We like to keep training her with that too. Do some recall, and like it's never stopping. So like exercising her brain too, so she gets something out of it. My wife's a biologist, so we always like to look for wildlife. Found a salamander and stuff like that, so we're pushing over logs and rocks and stuff like
That's
that.
awesome.
Kind of like a kid again in the stream looking for exotic animals. Every once in a while we find something good. But just doing all that takes you, just kind of distracts you from the busy hustle bustle of everyday life. Kind of it's your own little thing. So
Yeah. Anything outside of public safety is, that's your personal time. So, you can, like you said, you can focus on things that are more important to you at the time when in your personal time.
Yeah.
So to continue on with that, in your quieter moments between calls, and how do you find the motivation and maintain resilience to keep pushing forward despite the challengings that you do?
Now that I'm a paramedic, I really enjoy emergency medicine a lot more. Yeah, I have the compassion fatigue every once in a while for the BLS calls that we get attached to, but who doesn't? But most of the time, it's making a difference. I'm sure you remember when we saved that guy at the eye clinic, and we all met him at Passivant and kind of shook his hand after we did CPR on the guy like 3 months later, and he's doing fine now. It's just almost no deficits, which was insane because our turnout time was or response time was like 6 minutes or something. So like we were right on the cusp of, irreversible damage. Heaney came out with nothing. It came out as a seizure, and he ended up obviously being in cardiac arrest, since we already talked about it. But it's just kind of those eye-waking moments. We delivered a baby the last time I was back home with the volunteers, and just cool stuff like that. It's just kind of like you're welcoming life. It's not always death. It's helping people through what they might think is the worst time of their life, and actually being able to provide that level of care. I just switched from a smaller department in Virginia to a bigger one, but they had some pretty advanced protocols, ventilators, antibiotics, RSI, and doing all those things in the field just made you feel good because you're doing the best you can with what you got.
And I really do believe, especially with EMS, just because that's, obviously my real background was the job itself is what you make it. We can all go in, see all the death and destruction that comes along with it. But then, look at the good that we actually do as providers, and if you can really, focus on the good, there's definitely more good than bad. I really think there is. But like you said, that passion fatigue, that's real. That's very real. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that.
Yeah, I don't know why it hits so hard sometimes. Everybody in the field at least experiences at least once. Everybody says, "Oh no, I don't have compassion fatigue until the pager goes off at 3 a.m. for
until you do." Until you do.
Somebody that has what you think might be a ridiculous complaint.
Yeah, but that's what that's what we signed up for, and that's what we always have to remind ourselves is we signed up for this job is to help people at 3 a.m. with toe pain, or if it's just a little old lady that wants coffee made. It is what it is, and that's the whole part of it. So, Taylor, after working in various roles, what has motivated you to continue evolving in your career, especially in making the shift to paramedic work and becoming an instructor?
I just enjoy learning. You only become a bad paramedic when you stop trying to learn, or a bad provider, I should say. So as long as you're always open to learning, we both had the pleasure of working for I'm pretty sure everybody that you've interviewed that's worked there has said that it's the best.
Ross Westview EMS. Love that place.
The best agency to work for. I have done so much there that I couldn't even imagine. You would never think. I've had more opportunities there than I have in the city of Pittsburgh, and it's just insane. You would think somewhere that covered less population wouldn't get you more experience, but we were doing traumatic arrests almost monthly. We were cutting cars every other week. Yeah. Just being able to help with that, running with Berkeley and Ross, we have just that such tight-knit relationship that I know most of the guys at Ross know that they can call them at any time and they'll get quality providers, and vice versa.
Yeah.
We just had another save last week. Well, they had another save last week on McKnight, coming back from another call, and they went and saved a guy. So awesome. It's just insane, the opportunities that I've had been presented to me up in Ross. It's one of the best places to learn, either the fire department or the EMS agency. Just getting those experiences, and then from there, going and bettering yourself for classes. Like, the area has been doing a lot better at it, like the Jimmy Ellis Foundation doing their things, the Cranberry ERS, more Con Ed, hands-on Con Ed. AHN has the cadaver labs every once in a while. Like, any opportunity that I saw, I took it, and I learned a lot through it, and just continuing to learn, even reading PubMeds, something as simple as that. Have 10 minutes and go, man, I wonder why we don't give this medicine, and then look it up and go, well, that's why. Just thinking about it. I've become friends with several pre-hospital physicians, and like, we'll run through cases together. Like, even just randomly, we'll just be like, hey, what do you think about this? And they'll explain why I should or shouldn't do it. And it's just, you never stop learning. That's my biggest thing. If you stop learning, you're lying to yourself. Or you're just not trying to learn.
Absolutely. And the Jimmy Ellis thing is coming up starting this Friday. Britt, Logan, and I will be there. So if you're in town this Friday, we're going to be there on Friday for the Jimmy Ellis training event. Setting up a table. So have you experienced any outside or formal training like the... let me do this over again. Come on, Bart. My ADD is coming out really today. How have experiences outside of formal training, like the lessons learned from peers and mentors on the job, influenced your growth and resilience?
Man, I'm going to have to tap into the kind of 2018 to 2020 era, or like 2021, where I was kind of in that, well, not 2018, probably just really 2020 kind of COVID era. That's kind of when a couple calls hit hard. Just before that, transitioning from the city of Pittsburgh to a different agency, I was going through a lot mentally, and I learned that just kind of, unfortunately, the rumor train is more powerful. A lot of people didn't come to me first. They just kind of listened to what other people said, and it put me in a bad spot. I had to kind of try to grow through that. I think I did a pretty good job at that. Just kind of trying to communicate better with people and see what I need to do better. One thing that I'm terrible at, and which I've just kind of more recently shed some light on, is just kind of criticism, like on a way that you're doing something. I've been terrible at that for as long as I can remember, but it's just kind of one of those things where somebody says you're doing something wrong and you get defensive, and kind of people don't want to interact with you on that. I've been trying to work significantly better on that, just because it's different. Hold on one second. Sorry, the wife just came home. So.
No, you're good, man.
Roll back into it. But yeah, just you have to listen to the criticism that people give you. It's people have experiences that you might not, and they might know better, and they're just trying to help you out so you don't burn yourself down the line. Sometimes you learn that the hard way. Sometimes you listen and you don't do it. So it's just kind of listening to mentors, just talking nonchalantly. Usually it's not formal training, especially on the job. We don't have a ton of time to do it while working. So
Right.
It's usually like on the way back from a call, you're getting feedback from your FTO or whatever. So you just gotta take it in and take everything in like a sponge.
That's it. And like you said, always be willing to learn, be teachable and coachable.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. So for our listeners who might be experiencing similar stress or early signs of PTSD, what advice would you have to offer them?
Don't stop looking. I just found possibly the greatest therapist I've ever found, and she's actually helpful and helping me through a lot. Don't get discouraged like I did. I got very discouraged. I tried immediately after the AP. I tried when I moved down here. I tried a couple times when I was still in Pittsburgh too. Just never found the right person. Nothing ever clicked, and it was just very discouraging, and doesn't help with the depression when you're like, man, nobody can help me, and getting into your own head, which just fueled the dissociation and compassion fatigue at the time. So it's just kind of keep trying. Don't stop. If there's thousands of therapists out there, there's not just 3 or 4. You can shop around. No one's stopping you from going to 6 or 7 therapists before you find the right one.
Like, yeah, onward and upward, man. That's all you can do. So are there any specific resources, be it therapists, support groups, hotlines, or even personal practices that have been particularly useful to you that you would recommend to others?
If you're experiencing any kind of trauma, definitely a trauma specialized therapist. If you have any other things sprinkled in, look for their specialties. Just they're kind of like doctors. They're not all doctors teach the same or look at the same thing. So like a podiatrist, you're not going to go to a foot doctor for your shortness of breath.
So are there any specific resources, be it therapists, support groups, hotlines, or personal practices that have been particularly useful to you and that you would recommend to any others?
Not particularly. Like I said, just keep trying. Therapists, they're a dime a dozen, so you gotta find the one that you want. Therapy, keep finding the one that you want. I've never used a hotline. I've never felt
Absolutely.
that deep to use a hotline. There's 100 different great hotlines that I know. I just don't have any personal experiences with any of them. I've really just kind of resulted on therapy and personal practices. I've used CISM a couple times. If your agency does have CISM and you did experience a traumatic call, you can activate them up to 72 hours after an incident. I can't remember what it is, but I think it's 72 hours. So ask for it. You can ask for it. You can call the 911 center. You don't have to have a chief or something do it. Anybody can ask for the CISM team to come out and talk to you. You don't really have to have a reason. It can be a simple call as like you went to a house that was full of cockroaches. I mean, if you're terrified of cockroaches or something like that, give them a call. It's not that bad. CISM really helped me with the 2013 fire. Every fatal fire, I think, in Allegheny County automatically gets a CISM team. I don't know if that's just kind of policy or what, but it's just use it. Personal practices, like you said.
Whether it's the CISM team or the peer support groups.
Everybody's different.
We've spoke to a few people about the peer support, and that's the CISM's the more formal aspect of right after the critical incident, but having that peer support is key. It's absolutely key to your mental health, and because it's you and the other people that have been involved in that type of call, or who are actually involved with that call with you, and you can talk it out. You go on and get the professional help that is offered and that you can get.
Yeah. They definitely help with the like immediate aftermath. They tell you what you should expect or what you can do to kind of reduce it. But as you said, it shouldn't stop there. If you think
So
that
Taylor,
call's going to
when
mess
we
you up,
talk about breaking the stigma,
go see a
and that's
therapist
what we
if you
do
don't
on
have
this
one.
program, is trying to break the stigma around mental health and public safety. What does that mean to you personally? And how can conversations like this, like what you and I are having, or, like we said, those peer support groups, help those in the front lines and feel less isolated in their struggles?
My biggest thing is just be open about it. If you have something that's bothering you, just talk to people, talk to your officer, talk to friends, whatever. Especially if you're having a hard time, make sure you talk to somebody. Let people know that you're going through a hard time or what's going on. Because unfortunately, even now, people don't tend to ask unless most of the people that you've been asking on this show, a lot of them I know personally, and they'll reach out and ask you if you're okay. But there's still a large percentage of public safety where they don't. And you can be going through a lot and showing a lot of the signs, and people just won't say anything. So it's definitely kind of one of those things that we need to just talk about more and recognize the symptoms and all of that sooner, instead of just being, it's the job, deal with it. I think the career has been getting a lot better.
So looking at the future of public safety, what changes would you like to see in how mental health and well-being are supported within the community and by leadership?
So more resources need to be available. It's especially traumatic incidents. Having to pay for your own mental health after your career has put you through some of the worst experiences in your life. They did a study a couple years ago, I don't know if you've seen it, where public safety providers actually have a higher rate of PTSD than combat veterans. So it's only like 10% or something. It's something small, but not everybody that's a combat vet has seen like legitimate combats. So that's kind of like a gray area with that. But like we're seeing stuff almost every day, like seeing dead people every other shift, or seeing somebody mangled in a car crash, or somebody on fire in a car crash. That's a lot of stuff to take in. And we're typically in the career for 25 years, like at minimum,
average
to retire,
5 years.
20 to 25 years. And people aren't making it 10. I think 5 years. So like 5 to 10 years and people are out of it, and they don't want to deal with it anymore. And you think of your typical enlistment in the military, it's 4 to 6 years for like enlistments. So yeah, it's just unfortunate that it's the way that it is. The military is starting to get a lot better at it, and I hope we follow down the same path as them, which is kind of breaking the stigmatism.
So Taylor, looking back at your career from your early days in Pittsburgh to your current full-time role in Virginia, what's been the most valuable lesson in balancing the weight of this work with fulfilling your life?
You got to separate. Yeah, you can do some small things here and there outside, but it shouldn't be all the time. There should be an outlet for you to do that isn't public safety. It's hard for us because a lot of us live and breathe it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the younger ones. Live and breathe it. So you just find that time for yourself. Remove yourself from the situation if you have to. Do whatever you need to do to take a break. Me and my wife love to go on cruises. The best part about cruises is you don't have internet access, so you can't listen into stuff. So it removes you from the hustle bustle of everyday life, and then
public safety.
Or
internet.
Usual week without.
So here we go, the last one.
Internet.
If you could share one last message or key takeaway for our listeners, what would it be?
Don't take people with a grain of salt. Everybody's going through something at some time. If somebody seems like they're struggling or they're changed or you don't know what's going on, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to offer solutions. Like personally, I might get a little upset that you're calling me out on something, but deep down I'm actually listening, and I'll take that and take it and change it. My biggest thing is I can't fix what I don't know. So if if you don't tell me something's wrong or I'm doing something wrong, how am I supposed to fix that? So be open to people. Tell people what's wrong. Tell people that something they're not doing something right, or you don't think somebody's acting correctly. Reach out and just help somebody. It's as simple as, hey, calm down, or like, hey, you didn't start this IV right. You did this incorrectly. Yeah, again, like I said, I'm guilty of it almost every
There we
time.
go.
I might get a little defensive,
And
but
with that,
I'll
Taylor,
take that and
it's been
look
real,
into it
brother.
and
Thank
try
you
to
so
change
much
it.
for being on. Heck yeah. And if you'd like to be on the show like Taylor here, hit us up at
Thanks for having me. I
TWWC
appreciate it.
podcast at proton.me. No, we right here. TWWC at podcast at proton.me. If you'd like to be on the show just like Taylor, please reach out to us. But thank you again, man. I hope you continue watching like everyone else has. You've actually been on the show. I can't wait to release your episode here. But here we are, man. We're rocking. We're getting close to season 4 too now. So
Yeah, I absolutely love what you guys are doing. It's probably the biggest stigma change on it. I don't think anybody else is doing what you guys are doing. It's just trying to share experiences, and it's fantastic. I know I
appreciate that. That
I
was the
don't
main
feel
focus,
alone
was
as
if
much
we could help
anymore
one person
with your
to,
guys' videos.
you know,
So
maybe
that's
change a
great.
shift in the way they think or see and view things, especially if they're in the public safety line of work, and try to help them and give them resources. That's what it's about, man. If it can help one person, we've done our job. So that's it, man. Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Keep on watching. Subscribe over on
appreciate
YouTube, and we'll see you later. We love you. Oh, yeah.
Take care.